Hello, lovely learneds. Welcome back to ALifeLearned. So, just thought I'd offer you guys a little update on what's going on with me. If you can't tell by the title, it's been a bit rough. What are we at now? So, a week and a half ago? Yeah, about that, a week and a half ago? Tuesday the 29th. Anyway, I learned that I was terminated from my placement. And what that means is that I was not allowed to finish the semester and the practicum hours that are required to graduate. So it means that I need to come back to the college again next year, and I still haven't been told if it's going to be 1 or 2 semesters of my time. I might even have to apply for some completely unwanted 1-year certificate in order to do it, because I can't afford to be part-time with my OSAP. It's a long story, but basically they provide repayment assistance for people who can't pay, in my situation, who are low income, up to something like 62 months or something. I can't quite remember. All I know is that I was like 2 weeks short of tapping that completely and using all of it with the time that I was out of school between university and going back to college. So if I take any time off at all, other than, the summer period that they give you between semesters, they will expect me to fully pay back my entire loan before they will lend to me again. And I owe over $20,000 from my university days in particular. So I don't get to take a break is sort of the thing. And my situation requiring me to be part-time in order to get those practicum hours doesn't work. Maybe as a part-time student, there might be some understanding of OSAP, but I doubt it. I don't think so. I'll have to, I guess, look into that. But either way, I know that they don't give you forgiveness unless you're an active student, one way or another. So my situation is going to be complicated, and it was really difficult. It triggered my PTSD pretty hard to learn this, because this situation taught me that I was living with a distorted belief that I could try my hardest at anything and succeed. That I was the type of person who was successful at everything I put my all into, as if that's a type of person. And it's not. Everyone's human, everyone's capable of failing at something that they just don't align with or whatever. Timelines can make things difficult, and that's basically my situation. I needed more practicum hours because they created a compressed practicum hour requirement for COVID, which they were still using. As of next year, they're going back to regular practicum hours, and the fact of the matter is, with my social skills being so underdeveloped, I mean, I've come leaps and bounds in the last years, but they were really underdeveloped before that. And then with my professional skills still being quite underdeveloped, it was just how it worked out. And the interesting thing is, my main point of professionalism that I'm struggling with is disclosure. I was self-disclosing too much in the office to my colleagues and to my fellow placement students, and I had an incident of not realizing that I was disclosing someone else's information, and it was inappropriate. I shouldn't have. I should have at the very least asked permission to share the information. And so it's one of those things where it's like, to put it bluntly, which is really what I prefer, the fact is I am still incompetent in my professional skills. I have not developed enough to reach the standard that is set by the Ontario College of Social Work and Social Service Workers. And they have this standard so that people do not go out into the field incompetent. The funny thing is, lots of people manage to slip through the cracks. I really think that the reason I'm getting caught up here is because I'm so determined to be such an authentic person, and to be so true to my feelings and my existence and how I'm really feeling and really being in each moment. And you can do that while still remaining professional. But there's just certain lines that I didn't recognize. And I was also struggling with the supervision I was being given, in that they were being very gentle and in some ways subtle about how they were trying to guide me. And I, as I just said, I need direct, blunt instruction. I need to be told, don't do this. Like it needs to be very black and white while I'm learning. Once I get the black and white down, then I can figure out the gray, if that makes sense. And when it comes to self-disclosure in social work, that is a very touchy gray area where it's not all bad. It's not all just like black and white, don't do it, but it is very particular in when it's appropriate and when it's not. And yeah, I bombed that basically. They have this thing called a professional readiness rubric, which they put you on if you're not showing the required levels of development, which I had initially for my self-disclosure issues. And then after the incident of specifically disclosing someone else's information, that's when they were like, yeah, no, that's the same problem. That's a pretty good sign that you're not improving. So according to the way that placement's laid out, we gotta fire you, basically. You're not showing signs of improvement. You're not showing signs that in the next month of practicum hours, you will be as fully developed as you need to be. And that sucks. I totally melted down, specifically with that distorted belief, and specifically feeling that, like, now that I've failed this, I am just an all-encompassing failure. And, it started triggering unhealthy mindsets that I have, that, like, any sign of failure somehow means I'm going to become just like my parents and not graduate somehow, which I already did. You know what I mean? Or like not be successful, when success is really just a matter of perspective in a lot of ways. Like, you could say I've not been as successful as my mom because she had kids and I haven't. You could also say I have been more successful than my mom and dad because I graduated high school and college. So it's like, and sorry to clarify, it's because I went to a certificate program before this one, so I graduated that one. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to share that, like, I had this really big blow in life and it was super intense. It was really hard. I totally melted down. I couldn't stop crying for over 24 hours. And it took a lot of processing and talking with my professors, and reflecting to get to the calm place I am now to talk about it without crying. But I basically just accepted that the fact of the matter was, if I had have gotten through, I would not have been as developed as they expect people to be when they're graduating with. And so the thing also is about, I'm in an accredited college, so that would mean that I wouldn't have had to write any test in order to have a certified SSW qualification. Whereas in other colleges that teach social service worker skills, you have to do a test in order to qualify within the college. So it's because really the college has such high standards, and because they're putting out people that are already accredited, that this was necessary. And it sucks. I was just noting today that, like, I have some of the highest grades in my whole course, in my whole cohort. I've only ever, like, the lowest grade I ever got was a B. Most of my grades are A's or A pluses, like, because that's how they do it in college. But yeah, so like I was doing really well academically. I am very strong academically, but the fact of the matter is, social work requires social skills, and it requires a very specific capacity for professionalism. And I really respect that. And so, although I really hate that they're not gonna, like, let me basically use the summer semester to get my hours and to finish. And I also am currently terrified that they're going to say, sorry, you can't do it until January, which would be such a pile of bullshit. I have accepted that this was necessary for me to actually achieve my goal of being a qualified social service worker. It really rots my socks, though, that I don't get to graduate with all the students that I went through with, and that it completely destroys my application to King's that I had made, because I was going to go for a Bachelor of Social Work. And that's another thing that I'm like, oh, it sucks. Like, even if I was underdeveloped, I wasn't going into the field, I would have had more development. Maybe I could have gotten better and better in King's, but it's just like kind of the victim mindset of, well, what if things were different? It happened because it was supposed to, and it was hard. And so I guess I just wanted to say that as someone who knows that they're very intelligent and clever and capable, and sees themselves succeed repeatedly and get recognition in various different ways, I'm still capable of failing. I'm still capable of not meeting the requirements of certain programs and certain policies and procedures and stuff. And so I guess I want to just put it out there that no matter who you're comparing to, we're all capable of failure, because that's just what it means to be human. And I totally empathize about having it feel like it totally wrecks you and destroys your plans and your life, and all you want to do is just die. I was there. I totally get that. I had the suicidal ideation. It sucked, but I processed through it, and I'm here now, being able to calmly say that it sucks, but it was what had to happen. That was the next step in my development, was stopping where I was at and recognizing that I needed more in a different environment. And so if you're someone who's faced a hard failure in life or something that's really stopped you up, I empathize, and I'm here if you want to share. Feel free to email or message me through the various social medias, or just comment below with your story. I relate, and I can, at the very least, help you feel less alone in your failure and help you maybe reflect on it a little. But either way, just know that to fail is to be human, and it doesn't mean that we can't try again. You know what I mean? Sometimes it does make it really hard. Sometimes life circumstances don't let us just hop right back on the horse. But there's other ways of approaching it to still try to achieve those same goals. So just try to keep that in mind if you can. And again, as always, please comment below if you can relate. And join me again next week or sometime soon, where I try again to share a little something I've learned or experienced in life.